And so as I'm touching his shoulder to communicate to him, he doesn't hear anything I'm saying. All that's going through his head is, take your hand off me, take your hand off me, take your hand off me now, because it makes him feel discomfort. He doesn't like it. And so it doesn't help our communication. That's when I treat him as I would like to be treated. Okay. But if I treat him as he would like to be treated, I'll do differently. So the way, not wanting to improve upon Jesus, the way I'd say it is, we want others to treat us with respect. But what shows respect is different. So we're not changing Jesus, we're just adding a how we do it. Not what we do, but how we do it, right? So when we speak with people, we want to make a connection. We want them to connect with us, so we try to connect with them. But how we make that connection can vary. And that's where these things come in. Probably most of you have heard of this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. And in this book, he made this picture very famous. So just in the chat group right now, if you're in the, well, I guess, yeah, can you see the chat group? So in the chat group, write down how old you think this woman is. So probably most of you have seen it. Maybe some of you have not. But how old is this woman? Okay, yeah, someone said they've seen it before. That's great. Someone said she's 25. Someone said she's 90 years old. Most people are saying 20s, 30s. So we did this training once at a company, and so we had someone from the accounting office and someone from the warehouse. Both kind of reserved people, normally quiet. They started yelling at each other. You know, like in Russian, "Ti takoy stupoi." Like, can you be so stupid? How can you think she's 80 years old? There's no way she's 80 years old. She's like 25. And they're like, 25? What's wrong with your eyes? And everyone was in shock looking at these two people talking to each other, because normally they're very polite, but they were being very rude with each other. And of course, most of you know the answer, that there's two ladies here, right? There's a younger woman who's looking back over her shoulder like this. And then these older women looking down like this. So the whole point of this exercise is to help us understand that you can look at one image, and based on your mindset, you can, or what you see different things. The problem is not in seeing different things. The problem is in our attitude to the other person when they see something different than what we see. And if we step back and someone explains to us that there's two women here, a young woman and an older woman, it helps us to understand things. And so this is what we call the communication wheel, which helps us. We see or hear something. Based on what we see or hear, we tell ourselves a story. Based on the story that we tell ourselves, we feel something. And then based on what we feel, then we take action. So again, we see or hear something, we tell ourselves a story, we feel something, and then we act. So for example, it could be as simple as the boss walking through the office and he's got this sour look on his face. And we start thinking, uh-oh, he's mad at me, he's upset with me. And then we begin feeling unconfident, we begin feeling stressed, and we may take action to avoid him, when really the only thing was that he ate something for lunch that wasn't very good. And that's it. That's why he had a weird look on his face. So we can do things differently. So the way we look at the world, we say some people look at the world through rose-colored glasses. Everything's positive and great. And other people more put their glasses down and they're looking much more skeptically at things. If you look at this image, we have an artist here. What do you notice in all of his paintings? Can you see it? In every painting, there's like a hill or a mountain. That's because he doesn't realize it's his horn that's in front of his face. So wherever he looks, he sees the same thing. There's an old story about during the time of famine and difficult times, these peasant families were moving from one village to another. They put all their belongings in a cart. And as they approach this other village, this first family shows up. And they asked the farmer in his field saying, you know, we left our village, we're looking for a new place to settle. What are the people like in this village? And the farmer asked, what were they like in the village you left? They're like, oh, the people were not friendly. They didn't help each other. They're very critical. They gossiped. Ooh, we didn't like them at all. We're looking for a better place. And the farmer goes, I'm sorry, but you'll find the people here are pretty much the same as where you left. And so those people kept going. A little bit later, another family comes along and asks the same question. We're leaving, we're looking for a new place. What are the people like here? And he goes, what were they like where you left? And they go, oh, we hated to leave. The people there were wonderful. They loved each other. They helped each other. They were kind. They were encouraging. And he says, you'll find that the people here are pretty much the same. Right? And so how could the farmer give two different answers? You know, did the people in his village change? No, he understood the mindset that people had. If they viewed people negatively, they're going to view people in the new village negatively. If they viewed him positively, they'll view him positively in the new village. And some people put it this way: how do you see the glass? Is it half full or half empty? Are you an optimist or a pessimist? So in our family, we're all different. We view things differently. I would like to say I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. My wife would say, I'm not a dreamer, I'm an optimist, you know, about different things. So for instance, when it comes to reading people dealing with this, what emotion is she feeling right now? Right? As we hear answers, people say she's happy, right? Very easy to see. What about now? What is she feeling here? What emotion is she having?
Shocked.
Shock.
Could be shock. What else might it be?
Surprised.
Surprise, shock. We're not sure, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to determine, sometimes it's hard. What about here?
This one's
Surprise.
shocked.
Surprise.
You know, this
Surprise.
one.
Smart.
Right?
Doubt,
So
in doubt.
EQ is about understanding what people are thinking and feeling. So based on what we see on their face, we tell ourselves a story. Oh, he's upset. He's shocked. He's surprised. Then we
Confused.
feel things and then we take action. If we think,
Angry.
oh, he's angry, we can get angry back. Why are you angry at me? Oh, you know, we get angry back. And so we take action before we figure out what's really going on. So I want to show you a video here to test your powers of observation. If you've seen this, so we look at this, it's a color changing card. So how many changes did you see? Do you guys know how the card trick? Did you watch for the card trick? What happened? You may have to unmute yourselves.
I didn't understand.
Or maybe you didn't notice. So as you're looking at that, there's some different changes. Let's keep watching it to see what changes really happen. Because this is not about the cards, but you were looking for the card trick. So you're looking for one thing, but you didn't see the other things. So did you see the different color changes? Did anyone get all four
Yeah.
No.
when you watched it the first time?
Yeah.
This is Sarah, and we're going to perform the amazing color
Because
changing
usually when we
art.
do this, 90% of the people don't notice any color changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Push any card towards the camera.
They're so focused at looking at the cards to see what's happened or how the camera moves in and out of the cards.
Could have selected any card at all from the deck, but she selected the card which is now
That when
face
there's a
down.
big change, completely different color shirt, people don't notice it. So likewise, as you're watching this, think about when we, like I said with my wife, we go into a meeting, I'm listening to people's words. My wife is watching their faces and their body language to pick up on signals. Is there problems between people or not? Are people really happy, even though they say they're happy with the decision? But she's like, no, they're not happy. And so I have to learn to step back and say, what's going on here? And sometimes if I don't notice, I'll ask other people who are better at observing those things to say things. So EQ is about being aware of the emotions of people and how it affects working relationships and how people get along. In many ways, we're already experts. If you've been observing people, you see that people are consistent. We already have an idea of how people will behave and understand who they are. Even little kids understand this. They know whether to ask mom for something or dad, right? And so when we talk about DISC, which is a personality test, it helps us to understand others and for us to be better understood by others. It helps us in communication, helps us reduce prejudice, and improves relationships, and helps us gain collaboration of others as we learn to speak their language. What DISC is not, is what I said, it doesn't measure IQ. It doesn't measure people's values, their synesty. It doesn't measure their skills or experiences, things that they've learned to do. And it doesn't measure their education or training. What it does do is measure their behavior emotions. Because sometimes when we do these trainings within companies or give the DISC test, people think they can use it how to hire people or to promote people. It's just one factor. You have to consider all these other things when you're hiring people or working with them, but it's a very important one relating to especially their communication style or their working style, how we hold them accountable. These are things that DISC is very helpful. So it's an observable language, a universal language, and a neutral language. So it measures how you do things, how you talk, walk, shop. So it's about watching people. So here's a simplified thing. You can break people into, are they assertive or reserved? Are they people focused or task focused? And based on how you break them up, we assign them as being D, I, S, or C. We also have these colors, your red, yellow, green, or blue. And so when you see people, you can try and put them in one of these quadrants. For example, you go to a restaurant with some friends, and the first person, one person goes, hey, devushka, you know, я хочу pizzu. So they go, they want pizza, they call the person over. If their pizza's not there in 10 minutes, they're like, hey, where's our pizza? You know, they want things quick, they want things direct, and they just kind of ordering people around. That's the red color. The yellow color, I person, when people, the waiter comes to take their order, they say, oh, I need another minute. The waiter comes back in 2 minutes. Are they ready to order? No, because they're talking with their friends still. They enjoy communicating and socializing, but ordering is not important to them. Then the green or the S person, everyone says, I want a hamburger, I want a hamburger, I want a hamburger. They want pizza, but because everyone else has ordered a hamburger, what will they order? A hamburger, because they want to fit in with their team players. The last person, the blue or C person, they're going to look at the menu and study it and be like, oh, here you can get 500 grams of meat for 1,000 tenge. This dish, it's only 300 grams of meat for 1,200 tenge. So they don't choose what's most delicious. They're looking at value, calculating the cost in different things. And so you can see some of these behaviors immediately, and you have to observe people a couple times to know, but you can take a test to determine these things. But the D or dominance factor is how you handle problems and challenges. Do you grab things, go ahead and tackle problems, or do you step back hoping things will be resolved themselves? In other words, when there's something difficult, do you jump in to solve it, or do you step back waiting for others to solve it? The influence factor is how you handle people and influence others. In other words, do you like being with people, or would you rather be more alone? The green factor, the S factor, steadiness, how you handle change and pace yourself. S people like routine. They don't like change. They want things to stay the same. They want to become good at something, become an expert in it. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want disruption. And the last one, compliance, or the C factors, how you handle rules and procedures set by others. So these are people that know the rules. They want to follow the rules, and they want you to follow the rules too. So they'll complain if other people aren't following the rules or doing things the way they think. So we're just going to go through this part quickly. So D people or red hat people, they're forceful, intimidating, they're gruff. They can raise their voices. They just want to get it done. And so the animal that best describes them is the lion. Why the lion? Because king of the jungle. Why else? Because they're very loud. And so red hat or these D people can raise their voice and it's not personal. They're not really attacking you. They can be loud. So here you can see the D hat personality when it's time for a wedding.
This is my wedding, and in my wedding, your shoes will be dyed, your nails done. When I say taffeta, you say what color? You eyeballing me, Martinez? Okay, let's get married.
It's amazing the sacrifices you'll make.
Okay. So we see on a happy day like a wedding, she's like a general in the army. Do it this way, do it my way, do it. So looking at the I people, these are the extroverts. They're positive, they're optimists, they're creative, they like being with people, they like the laughing. What animal do you think best describes this person? Anyone like to share? What animal do you think?
Monkey.
Yeah, very good. You guys are already experts, see? Monkey or chimpanzee, because they like to play, they're in groups, they like to have fun, and look at that smile. So they like to smile a lot. So they want to make work fun if they're working. And so let's skip that one for now. So this one, the S-type player is a team player. They're supportive, they're steady, they're like to help other people. They want things to be secure and to be safe. And what animal best describes this one? So in America, we often choose the dog, the golden retriever. But in Kazakhstan, I like to choose the horse because a horse is man's best friend, takes care of him. It's also a workhorse. So these people are good workers. They work hard. But they have difficulty saying no or difficulty with confrontation, but they have ways of confronting. So this is what it might look like.
You don't like the way I drive? Come on. You want a piece of me? Let's go out. Get you some, huh?
It's trying to avoid conflict.
Beat off by anybody now. You think you're better than me?
At Suburban, you'll find revolutionary ideas that other dealerships just don't offer. Suburban Auto Group on Highway 26 in Sandy. Trunk monkey pending approval by Attorney General.
All right, back in the trunk.
So these green hat people or S people won't confront you directly, but they'll find another way to deal with you. That'll be sabotage. Then we have the last type, which is blue, or we say type C. They're critical thinkers. They're analytical. They want accuracy. They want facts. They tend to be skeptical. What animal do you think this might be?
Dolphins.
Dolphin. That's a good guess, perhaps. What else? What other animal might be?
An owl.
An owl, because they're wise. Yeah, it could be that one. So there's different animals that can work, but the one that I've settled on in America, when they do this training, they say the beaver, because the beaver is nature's engineer. They build houses out of trees, and the trees fall very accurately. But here we use the honeybee, because they work well together. They form a honeycomb, which is very accurate, done well. So they do a good job doing things. They do quality construction. So there's different choices, but I usually choose the honeybee. So here's an example of these people. If you criticize their work, they have a hard time with it. So this is what happens to this type of person. So these are people that, like, if you have the red hat people, the D's, they will like get mad with people, upset, yell at them. And the green hat and blue, the green and blue people won't respond directly, but they will kind of disappear off the side. Like, okay, I'm not going to help you then. They won't yell back, but they're not going to be there to help you. And so they can play a very important role in that. So here's a quick quiz for you. If you say to someone, you are doing a good job, what does the D or the red hat, well, how do they interpret that? What do they hear? The point of this exercise, you can say one thing to a person, but based on their mindset, the way they view things, they can receive it very differently. What would type D say? The red hat, if you tell them you're doing a good job.
I know, right?
Yeah, you don't know. They might say though, what? Am I not doing a great job? What do you mean good job? I'm doing great. Because they're very self-confident and think I'm doing good things. What about type I, the yellow hat, the extrovert, the optimist, the fun person?
Maybe tell me more about it.
Well, if you're saying you're doing a good job, because they want to encourage and give people, they'll just say, I like you too. So they'll just say, oh, you said I'm doing a good job because you want to be positive. So I like you too. What if you say to type S, you are doing a good job, especially if it's a red hat or type D saying it to them? What might they be thinking or saying to themselves?
I just did my job.
You're
Something.
just-
I just
That's a
did.
good one. I just did my job. Or it can also be,
It's my
okay,
job.
what favor do you want me to do for you now? So, okay. So if you tell me, I know you're used to buttering me up. Oh, you did such a great job. Can you do it again for me? Especially if it's a red hat. What about type C, the blue hat people? What might they be thinking if you say you're doing a good job?
What specific job did I do good?
Yes, they want to hear specifics. That would be one thing. That's true. But the other thing can be, if only you knew all the mistakes I made. And so,
Negative. Yeah.
because they can be critical of others, but they're most critical of themselves. So when they give a speech, for instance, in Toastmasters, they'll think, oh, it was awful. I didn't do it the way I wanted to do it. When the audience actually thinks they did a good job, but they themselves think, oh, it wasn't very good, when it actually was pretty good. A different thing. Okay. So a quick quiz for you. Hey, so Chris, I have a question. I think I'm going a little bit over time. Do we have a little bit more time or do we need to stop here for today?
Yeah, we still have time.
Okay, because we'll do this next part and then we're going to give you a quiz on Kahoot and we'll explain how it works in a group. So when you see this car, what type is this? D, I, S, or C? Red, yellow, green, or blue?
Red?
That's a D.
It's a D.
D.
Yeah, let's see. Probably red, right? Very good. What about this car?
Yes.
S.
Yes. Yes.
How do you say S?
Low key.
Yeah.
S.
PC
Okay,
maintenance.
Good. What about this one?
Or
If you
I.
can't see this is the Volvo.
Maybe I.
The
Flash.
I.
Yeah.
Let's look at the next one.
Oh, that's I.
I.
I. That's I.
So this one is C because it's got good
C.
resale value. They do
Yeah.
research. This car is very safe, and when you sell it, it keeps its value very well. Volvo does.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
would be I. They want. Okay. So what we want to do right now is to do a little quiz on Kahoot. And so I'm going to share my screen again. And so here we go. So in order to play this game, you need to go to download the Kahoot app, or you can go to this, go to kahoot.it and enter this number. So enter this number, game pin 938435. And then we'll start the game. It's like a little quiz. You'll have 20 seconds to answer each question. So go to kahoot.it, enter this number, and then I'll see how many players we get. We're waiting for players to join. Okay, we got Boo. Is it Boo? We got Ai. Ai is in. So far we have 2 players. We're waiting for the others.
So for those of you using your phones, you can just open your browser and go find kahoot.it.
Kahoot. Is it Kahoot.it? Maybe this one.
Okay, we got 8 players now. We got Maya, we got Jera, we got Male, Amy.
Just 9, 3, 8, 4, 5.
All right. Is that everyone about? We got 10 players. Should we start? Oh, we got one more, Jay. So the way the game works is you'll have to look at the screen I'm sharing with you to see the question. Then on your phone, on the app, when you answer the question, you'll have to note the shape and the color. And so you'll have to choose on your phone itself. You won't see the choices. You'll see the choices on the screen, and then you'll have to go choose the color or the shape. So in this contest, it's not only correcting the right answer, but how quickly you choose the answer determines who gets more points. So it's speed as well as correctness. If you get it wrong, that's the worst thing. Okay, so there's 12 people now. We'll start the game, and if you're not right, we'll go. Here we go with the first question. Oh, we lost one person. They're back. Okay, so there's 8 questions. Are you ready? Here we go. Question 1 of 8, which animal is type D or red? Should be a very easy question. So you got snake, chimpanzee, dog, or lion. Make your choice. Seconds left to answer. All right, so the correct answer, as you can see, was the lion. So 6 people got that right. There we go. So you can see the score. Chris is in first place, followed by Amy, followed by Molly. Let's do the next question. This is question 2. Which type is an extrovert? You got 50-50 chance. Which one's the extrovert? Now be careful. You got to watch the colors because it says D red, but the red color's on the left side. So don't get mixed up. Let's see if the red color threw you off. I think it may have. The correct answer is D, red. Red's extrovert because extrovert, they get energy from people. So the green hat people, though they like people, they like small groups. Yellow and red are the extroverts. And let's see how we're doing with the scores here. Now Molly's in first place, followed by Jay, followed by Za. Okay, here we go. Next question. What is the EQ golden rule? You have 4 choices. The EQ golden rule. And I should have put in here, he who has the gold makes the rules, but that one's not here. Would have been an option. All right, you guys are very good students. Almost everyone got that one correct. Nice job. Treat others as they want you to treat them, not as you want them to do to you. And so, who's in first place now? It's still Molly, followed by Jay. Jay has the highest answer streak of 3. Here we go. Next question. Which type has a car like this? And again, you'll notice, don't look at the colors, look at the, oh, I made a mistake. So the one that, look at the colors where it says green. I didn't know, the one that says green should have an S by it. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. That's going to mess you guys up. The correct answer should have been the green, where it says green. So I made it extra difficult because of my mistake. Please forgive me. So if you're a yellow or green hat, you'll forgive me. If you're a red hat, if you got it wrong, you're mad with me. If you're a blue hat and you're like, who is this guy? He messed up my exam. I don't like this. You're going to be upset. So it's a way to test yourself, who you are, based on your reaction when there's a mistake made by the instructor. Next question. So what is missing in this diagram? Do you remember? You see the diagram? Something is missing. Which one is it? What should you do? Get feedback, tell a friend, check the facts, tell yourself a story. What happens after you see or hear something? Okay. So those that put check facts, that is true. You should check the facts. But what happens on the thing is we tell ourselves a story. And based on that, the story we tell ourselves, we feel something. And so Boo is now in the lead, followed by Molly, followed by Jay. Here we go. Next question. Which word does not describe type C or blue? Oh, they all begin with C. That's making it difficult for you. Which one is not type C, the blue hat person? Do you know which one? Oh, you guys are right. They're definitely not usually the cheerful people. But who put conscientious, they're very conscientious. They want to follow the rules and do it correctly. You guys are doing pretty good. Let's see where things stand now. Boo is still in the lead, followed by Molly. It might be difficult. How best to approach type D? How do they want you to relate to them? So in other words, how do red hat people want you to treat them? A little results spread out a little bit, but yes, the correct answer is focus on results, because red hat, they want results. They want to do things. They want quick results, and they like competition. Want to know how to win. They want facts, but only a few facts. They don't want lots of facts. They don't want all the details. And it's yellow hat that wants you to be cheerful. So let's see how we're doing. Boo is in a commanding lead. This guy must study this stuff on his own. Let's go to the last question. True or false, 50-50 chance. D-type S green people like pressure and deadlines. All right, good job. 2/3 of you got that right. Yes, it's false. They do need pressure sometimes to get results because they like to take their time and to do a good job. But if you put pressure on them, it causes them to be paralyzed actually. So you have to be careful. You can't put too much pressure on them. All right, so that's the end of the question. I hope you enjoyed that. Second, here we go. Stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like to take any questions from people at this point? Any questions that you may have? There's a lot more we can say about this, but usually when we do seminars like this, it's minimum half a day up to 2 days with different exercises and the way to apply this information. So this is an introduction for you.
I have a question, Sir Tom.
Yes.
Can you be a dominant person with very high EQ?
Okay, EQ is a learned skill. So you can be any type of personality and have good EQ skills. But like anything, there's some people that are naturally better at some things than other things. Okay, so some people are more naturally have high IQ already because of the family they're in, the environment they're in, or just based on who they are, their DNA. But it is things you can learn to do. You can learn to be a good listener. You can learn to read people. So yes, you can be a very dominant person and have good EQ, because remember, it's about knowing, as human beings, we're the only created creatures that can think about what we're thinking, think about what we're feeling, think about what we're doing, and self-correct. So if you're a very dominant person, if you're aware that that's who you are, you can stop and say, you know what? I tend to dominate in these situations. I need to step back and let other people speak up. So especially if you're leading a team, what happens if you're leading a team and you're a red hat, a dominant person, you'll go like, I think we should, go with product A instead of product B. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Okay, let's do it. They give people 3 seconds to respond and they move ahead. Green hat and blue hat people need time to think and to process. They're internal processors. And if you want them to contribute, you have to say, okay, everyone write down what you think and then share with the group. That's how you get input. If you're a red hat or yellow hat, you speak, you think quickly, but you need to give the green and blue people time to process and then respond. Okay, and next question.
Thank you.
Sir Tom, you mentioned earlier that a successful person needs three things. First is IQ, EQ, and then a good way to present.
Yes.
I heard from another speaker before, or that instead of the presentation, they said you have to have a high AQ or adversity quotient. What can you say about that?
EQ or what quotient? Emotional intelligence? Well, we said you need
AQ.
both. You need,
AQ.
yeah, we said you need
Adver-
IQ, which is smarts or intelligence, right? You have to be able to understand things well. Then you need EQ relating to people. And this is not for all people, but if you're going to move up the corporate ladder, you're going to sell either or be an entrepreneur. If you need to sell your ideas to management to fund, like this guy who worked for Intel, he was in charge of projects that were $50 million, $100 million projects. But what he said used to happen is to him is he would come up with an idea, he would bring it to fruition, and then other engineers would come up to him and say, oh, I had that idea 3 years ago. You're not the first one to have that idea. And he used to be like, oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm not super smart. I know you have good ideas too. But as people kept saying that to him, his response changed. And maybe he wasn't showing good EQ, and it's to be like, but his response became, so what did you do about it? Did you get management to fund your projects? If they said no, you go, then shut up. I don't want to hear that you had a good idea, that I also had the same idea, but you couldn't sell your idea. Don't tell me. They're trying to diminish what he did by saying, oh, I already knew that. But if you're not able to sell your ideas, you're going to be limited in your effectiveness. If you just want to be an engineer who works on implementation or research, fine. But if you want to become a manager who needs to recruit budgets, or you want to be an entrepreneur where you have to get investors, you have to be able to sell your ideas as well. So thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Nisho, any more questions? Okay, I have an exercise for you to do right now. So everyone needs to get a pen. So grab a pen, and you need a piece of paper. So get a pen or piece of paper. And it can be any piece of paper. And so don't start until I say go. But this will be your assignment. We want you, when I say go, start. But so I want to see pens in the air. Hold your pen in the air. No cheating. Wait till I say go. I want you to write your full name. Imya, Otchество, Familia. So first, middle, and last name. Don't start till I say go. You have 15 seconds. Ready? Go. So go, go, go. Okay, stop. Time's up. How many of you succeeded in doing it? Probably most of you, right? Okay, we're gonna do
Yeah.
it again. We're gonna do it again, but wait. Lift your pen up in the air. Switch it to your other hand. Now you have to write with your other hand. Again, you have 15 seconds. Let's go, do it. Okay, stop. Okay. So how did you do? Let's show us. Show us the two different variations. So the first time and second time. Oh, good. So sometimes when we do this, some people are almost ambidextrous, meaning their right and left hand are almost the same. For other people, the second one looks like a chicken scratched on the ground, right? It's very hard to see it. So the point of this is we have a natural hand that we write with, and then we have our other hand, which is not natural. So same thing, you have a natural personality style. If you tend to be very direct or very dominating, there's times you need to step back, but when you try to do it, it'll be very hard. On the other side, you have green and blue hat people who tend not to be very direct, not to be very loud when they need to be, and they tend to be very quiet and reserved. But there's times they need to speak up. And so, but when you first learn to be different, it's hard for them to be different, to do something different. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel strange. You're not going to do it very well. For instance, when you need to be more of an optimist, like I don't smile enough. Like my wife always tells me, Tom, smile when you're presenting. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to smile because I'm thinking, I'm serious. I have all this good information I want to pass to you. Likewise, do you guys know what color hat I am? What color hat do you think I am? Red, yellow, green, or blue?
I think C. I'm not too familiar with the color.
So D, I, S,
I
or
think
C?
C.
green hat.
Blue?
Green hat. Blue hat. Okay, we have
Oh,
green
blue.
hat. Hat.
Green, more green.
Blue?
Okay. So you guys are very good. So when I do these trainings live and we're moving around more, a lot of people think I'm yellow or an I. Because we do games, we mix it up, we do different things. But yeah, I'm actually, my top one is blue or C. The second one is green or S. And so when I first used to do these things, I would just like have slides filled with lots of information. And other people that are blue would be like, oh, I love it, lots of information. But the red hats and the yellow hat people would be like, oh, skuchna, yeah, very boring. They didn't like it. It was difficult. So you have to learn as you're a trainer, you have to adapt your style to connect with all four types. And at first it was very difficult for me, but I realized if I don't do it, it's the audience, a lot of people, the audience don't receive things as well. So the other thing that happens is blue hat and green hat people will sometimes after, say that you have a red director and he says, let's go this direction, it fails, it flops, it's not successful. Then you'll have a green or blue hat person will say, like, I knew it wasn't going to work. And the red hat will be like, why didn't you say anything? And they'll be like, because you didn't ask me. And he goes, but we asked you in the meeting. Well, you didn't ask in the right way. Sometimes it just causes you to lose money. But there's a famous story, a situation where there was a pilot and a co-pilot. The pilot was red hat and the co-pilot was green or S. And they were in a holding pattern. They had to circle, they couldn't land. And the co-pilot noticed they were running low on fuel. He tried to speak to the pilot, but the pilot said, don't talk to me. He goes, but, he goes, no, I don't want to hear it. And so he kept quiet. And the plane crashed because they ran out of fuel. He was too afraid to get the red hat person angry at him. Meanwhile, everybody died because he didn't speak up. So green hat people, blue hat people, sometimes we need to speak up, even if we're afraid of someone being angry with us. We don't want them to be upset with us. But when it's really important, you have to learn to speak up, even though you feel very uncomfortable doing it. Okay. So if there's no other questions, we can end, or I can give you your final exam. Do we have time for a final exam?
How long would it be, Professor Tom?
It will be 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think we have time for a 3-minute exam.
3-minute exam. Okay. So let me share my screen with you again. Okay. So remember, you see, hear things, you tell yourselves a story, you feel things, and then you take action. So we're going to watch this video. If you've seen it before, don't spoil it for the others, but let's watch this. So what do you see happening here? What do we see or hear so far?
He's driving a mixer machine. A mixer.
And he looks at
Happy.
he looks at a photo, he looks at his watch, and now
Yeah,
he's
photo
going
watch.
to a residential area. So we don't know exactly what's happening, but
Can't wait.
it might be his wife. Let's keep watching. Okay, now what do we see or hear?
Worried.
He got
His
curious.
reaction.
Yeah, what's his reaction? What's his emotion?
Who could that be?
Yeah, puzzlement.
Curious,
Question.
puzzled, questioning.
So he's come home to his house and there's a strange car in the driveway, right? Let's see what happens next. So what story is he telling himself? What is he starting to feel?
She's lying to him.
Yeah, she's lying. How is she lying? She's having, an affair, right? So if he's red person, a D, what will his response be?
Go ahead and confront the other guy.
Yeah, he'll be very direct. He'll confront and he may punch him, right? What if he's I or yellow? What will his response be? No, he's an optimist, fun-loving. He might go inside. Hey, party, everyone, party together.
Maybe he's someone relative or something.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll be more positive, right? Thinking, what are the positive things? What if he's green hat? What will he probably do? He's S, green.
I'll talk later.
Yeah, maybe talk later. So he'll try to avoid it, try to make peace. He'll probably go away and not do anything. What if he's blue hat or C?
He will get in and ask the person. Who's that person?
He'll probably call
Gather
the lawyer, make sure
information.
everything's in order with his finances and well. Let's see what he does.
Gather info, yeah.
So, so he's telling himself a story that she's probably having an affair, right? So what type was he based on his reaction?
A?
D, I, S, or C? What?
D.
D why? Because he took
action.
He made a decision very quickly, right? He didn't.
Very quickly.
He wants a revenge.
What else could he be? We're not 100% any one type. What other mixture could he be? What else type does he have?
I.
C.
Blue.
Why do you think blue or C?
I don't
Maybe
think the
he.
blue one thinks before doing.
We could say,
Because
yeah.
because he doesn't like confrontation, so he just did it another way to take revenge, something like that.
Okay. Right. So probably it's going to be that's more the green hat or S. He doesn't like confrontation. And then he's a little bit. Hey, but look at his face. How does he feel now?
Happy.
He looks wolf.
Right? He looks a little bit like satisfied. Ah, I got him, right? I
That's
did
fine.
something back. So sometimes when we respond immediately, it makes us feel good, right? Ah, I did something. I got him back. You know, we figured out something to do. But let's watch the rest of it. How does he feel now?
Oh no.
He's surprised, angry.
Yeah, yeah. It's his car. They just won it, and now they're just
Guilty.
guilty. So
Yeah.
this is why EQ is important. We stop, we think, what else could be going on before we react? Because sometimes when we react, there's big consequences, and the situation's much worse than if we would stop and think and try and figure out what's really going on. So good job. You guys passed the final exam. I'll turn it back over to Chris.
Thank you so much. Can you all can everyone give a reaction? Yeah, this like clapping reaction, guys. Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Tom. Really, it has been a very fruitful time with you, and it has been a long time. Like we've been meaning to have you join us. Thank you so much. I'm sure everyone learned a lot, learned something that we hope we get to apply in our relationships and the way we relate to others. Thank you so much. And uh, this is what Professor Tom shared a while ago, that he's very much involved with Amity Toastmasters, right? So, is it possible, Professor Tom, that if anyone would love to join or observe your club, can they join or join the Zoom meeting as well?
Yeah, anyone's welcome to join the Zoom meetings. And so if I'll put it in the chat group. If you go to Instagram and just do amati.toastmasters, you'll find our Instagram page, and it will have the ID number to join in Zoom. So we meet Wednesdays at 7:30. So.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. So again, if you have any more questions, you just go and message us, okay? And know that we are doing this every week. We are doing live talks every week, and we're excited to announce with you. So Ami is here. Coach Ami will be presenting. Will be informing us what's up next for our live talks.
Thank you, Coach Chris. Thank you, Sir Tom, for sharing your knowledge and your expertise to us. We surely learned a lot this afternoon, and we appreciate everyone who came uh, and joined us for today's live talks. And so we'd like to see you again next week. So if you're free, same time, do join us for game day so we can all learn and practice English in a fun way. And also, if you're interested to learn English one-on-one with us, please sign up for our language exchange. And another one, we want to, another announcement is that we would want to hear from you. So on our WhatsApp group, we will be sharing a link where you can give us your feedback about your experience here in Life Talk, so that we would know how we can all have a better experience in the succeeding Life Talks that we are going to have. So there, that's it. Before we go, can we take a photo, Coach Chris? Can you just take a photo of all of us with Sir Tom? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next Saturday.
All right.
Thank
See
you
you.
very
Thanks for having
much.
Thank you,
me.
Sir Tom.
Thank you, Sir
Thank you so
Tom.
much, Sir
Learned a
Tom.
lot
Thank you
today.
again, Sir
Thank you, Sir
Tom. We
Tom.
appreciate your
Thank you
talk.
so much for your time.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone. See
everyone.
you next week.
Bye.
See you
Thank
next
And Yanli,
you.
for
week.
staying with
Yanli, for
us.
staying.